everyone. I hope that you guys are doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Shikha and I welcome you to my channel. As always, I'm so grateful that you're listening, subscribing, and commenting. I really appreciate the support. This video is going to be a little bit of a weird one where I actually don't know the answer to this question that I'd be asking, and I don't think anyone really knows the answer to this question, but I'm going to pose it because I've been pondering over it myself for a while now, trying to figure out what the right thing to do in this situation is. And I've decided on what I'm going to do, but I don't know if it's the right thing to do. It's just right for me. And the reason I want to share it with you is because it's actually happening on the channel itself, on my community. And I wanted to give an explanation of how I'm dealing with it, because a lot of you are probably sitting there thinking, what is she doing? Why isn't she saying anything? Or why is she being so passive? Why is she not actively commenting to people who are saying certain things? And probably a lot of you are going to be judging me for it. And I've decided that the best way to deal with this is not by replying to each comment, but by replying in a video format, which I'm good at. Plain. Gives me a few moments to center myself. So, as you guys are aware, I do support, and I have been supporting, and I have been posting about the BLM movement, the Black Lives Matter movement, on my channel, on my community, constantly on my Instagram as well, because that's not something that is a compromisable situation for me. That's actually the thing, that I do support them. There's no negotiation about it. That's not what I'm talking about in this video. So I do support them and I post about it. But what happens when I post about these things, or even the trans movement, I support that as well. And of course, when I post about that, people comment and things like that. The comments themselves don't bother me as much as the fact that a lot of times it brings up a lot of anger within me, and frustration, and sadness. And that emotion that comes up for me when I'm looking at these people commenting in sometimes blatantly racist ways, sometimes blatantly homophobic ways, but sometimes just trying to explain their point of view. And I feel anger. And a lot of what my analysis about myself has been to do with shadow work. And I've spoken about this many times before, that if something outside of you angers you, it's something inside of you that's triggering it. It's not that person's fault, it's what's inside of you. And so, of course, I'm sitting here thinking, all right, let me analyze this. Let me figure out what is inside of me that's causing me to feel angry with this person. Why do I feel angry with this random individual off the internet, stranger, who is just expressing their opinions and causing me to feel anger? Now, partly I feel angry because I can't believe they're actually saying things which are racist, or that, seem like they're racist. Sometimes they're able to make arguments where I'm like, yeah, you know what, actually makes sense, but you're intellectualizing something that's not supposed to be intellectual, or you're politicizing something that's not supposed to be political. But in general, what's happening is that when I do post something, especially on Facebook, because I have my friends who are commenting on it as well, and when they're blatantly racist or homophobic, my initial reaction always is to unfriend them. And I've been thinking about it because this is the basic door slam that an INFJ does. And if you guys don't know what an INFJ is, it's just a personality type. But it's a blatant door slam. It's just like, all right, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. You're done. I'm kicking you out of my life because you have an opinion that's different from mine. In a lot of cases, these are people who I've been friends with for a while, and I'm looking at them thinking, I don't even know who you are anymore. How can you even believe in such a thing? But I did a couple of those door slams, a couple of those unfriends, and I realized it was actually really immature of me to do that. It didn't make sense to me anymore. If I wanted to be a mature human being, I can't go around unfriending people because they said something that was in opposition to my views, because that's the world we live in. Not everyone's going to have the same view, and that's why we have the conflicts that we have, because there's a diversity of opinion. So then I started posting on my YouTube community as well, and I got the same kind of feedback from the universe saying, there are people out there with a different opinion to yours, and that's common, that's okay, and you're gonna have to learn to adapt to it. Because at first, again, people were commenting. I posted something about the Black Lives Matter versus All Lives Matter, and of course there were hundreds of comments, well, dozens of comments, And I'm sitting there thinking, all right, I'm going to delete everyone who is obviously racist or making racist comments or making comments where I'm like, yeah, that does not make sense. So I started doing that, and then I caught myself and I'm like, all right, what am I doing? I'm doing the same thing I did on my Facebook channel, on my YouTube channel. I actually love these airplane breaks because they give me a little bit of a chance to kind of collect my thoughts and be like, all right, I know where I'm going. So I was doing the same thing on my YouTube as I was doing on my Facebook. I was like, I'm not doing that on Facebook, so I shouldn't do that on my YouTube channel either, obviously. So then I obviously had to collect myself and be like, all right, what am I doing here? How can I deal with the situation better? Because I know, obviously I'm proclaiming to the world by posting things about BLM or trans movement that I support them. People get it. But then all these people kind of make all these arguments, some of them pretty plausible, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, you're obviously, you've thought about this a lot and it makes sense from your perspective, and I can even see how it makes sense. I still don't believe it, but I can see how it makes sense. So instead of replying to each comment, because there were hundreds, I obviously just leave them, But I'm wondering to myself, what is the right situation? How should I be responding to it? And of course I decided, as I said, I'm not going to delete these people off my channel because that's not the point. I don't want to be a tyrannical or a dictatorial person who's like, all right, if you don't have the same opinion as me, then you're not allowed to be around me. That's not how I want to live my life. That doesn't make any sense. I want to live in a very inclusive manner. And of course, that's the whole point of the BLM movement and the trans movement, is that it's about inclusivity. So then me excluding people with differing opinions from me is actually very hypocritical. So of course I undid that. I didn't delete all those people, all those users off my channel. And then I decided, I think I need to make a statement about this. Not necessarily for other people out there, but just for myself, for me to understand why I'm doing the things I'm doing. And then as soon as I started thinking about it in this kind of format, I realized, yeah, that's the thing. That's what I want to do, is that I'm going to keep on proclaiming to the world that this is what I support. I support the movements. I support inclusivity. But I don't support deleting people or unfriending people or removing them from my life because they don't support the same ideas as me. My father is a big Trump supporter, and as you guys know, I'm not. It doesn't really matter because I'm not a US citizen, but he is, and he loves him. My father loves him, loves Trump. Does that mean I'm going to kick him out of my life? No, he's my father, and he's allowed to have his own opinion. And there's many different things that my family and I and my friends and I differ on in terms of opinions, but it doesn't mean that I just kick them out of my life. Again, unless it's something terribly important, which I can't imagine something could be so important that you kick someone out of your life for that. Maybe the pro-life, pro-choice movement, but even then, I can't imagine that I would be like, yeah, okay, you're against it, I'm gonna kick you out of my life. So in general, as I said, if I'm going to be supporting inclusivity movements, I can't be supporting exclusivity in my life and saying, all right, you're done, I'm kicking you out of my life. Unless they, as I said, unless they say something terribly racist, but something very derogatory and insulting to someone, or they're deliberately being aggressive and rude about it, then of course I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna unfollow you or unfriend you because you're deliberately insulting me or taking this personally or going in a personal format where it's not necessary to do that. But in general, if you're gonna express a differing opinion, I'm not going to remove you from my life because of that. And so this is the conclusion that I've come to after a lot of hours and hours of thinking about this, because it was a very important topic to me, because I was realizing, as I said, that I was making an emotional issue out of it. I was making it to be a me versus them kind of thing. And again, as I said, there's no point doing that, because again, you're creating more separation, which is not the point of this whole situation. So this is what I've come up with. Now, this is not the same solution that everyone's going to come up with. And that's the point of this, is that this is my solution that's applicable to me. And in this moment in time, it might change in the future, of course. If people want to unsubscribe, obviously, or unfollow me or unfriend me because they don't agree with me, they're absolutely welcome to do that, obviously. And if you guys want to, you can as well. But from my end, I'm going to keep it as inclusive as possible. Now, of course, I'm not going to say that I agree with you, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to remove you from my life. So that's what I want to share with you. I didn't realize it was going to be such a long video. I thought it would be a short one. But that's that's the conclusion I've come to. So it's not the best solution out there, as I said, but it's my best solution for this moment in time. And I hope that, I don't know if you'll understand it or not, I just wanted to share it with you. Again, I'm grateful that you guys are even on my channel and listening to me. I appreciate the support. And I'm really grateful that I can do this, that I can share my opinion in this format. It makes me extremely happy. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you guys the next time around. Bye for now.